the Alpha One Technical Services from Ukuk in a local government area. He is an inventor, he is an elder with the Apostolic National Award winner and other award. Recently, he won an award that really got me interested. There is something he has done, fabricating a locally made oxygen generator that won him the architect pitch competition. And this morning, I'm glad to have him back in the studio. I'm talking about engineer Ndorenyan Kingsley. Good morning once again.
Good morning. Happy to see you.
Yes.
Good morning, viewers.
It's good to have you again with us. We remember last week you were here with us and we didn't have time to finish everything. But I still want to start where we started last week for the benefit of those who couldn't join us last week. I remember that we talked about the fact that you started from Iwe Technical College, and I really love to start there because we have so many promising young teenagers in that school. And many times there's something that is synonymous with them, trouble. Every time we hear that they are fighting with Uyo High School and all that. And you said something about energy, channeling their energy to something meaningful. And I would like you to remind us of those things you said again, because I want to believe that somebody can hear it and it can even help to put somebody on the right track. Yes, once again, welcome. And let's start from there.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Akwa Ibom State. I would like to go straight to the point. As a student at school in the Government Technical College Ewait, I want to tell you that that place is a resource center full of talented young minds with energy and desire to aspire. And you know one thing about energy is that it cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. So the technical college is supposed to be an environment, a creative environment that utilize the innovative idea of those young guys to create stuffs. When I was there, we used to spend more than 70% of our time building robotics practical objects. The main objective of the school then, according to the name, Government Vocational Training School, the moment you are there, you know that you are here for a vocation. So you needed to come out with something meaningful for yourself. But today, last time I visited the school around 2014, I discovered that all the workshops were transformed into classroom blocks. I think the population increase did not do good for the school. The resources that was required to upgrade the equipment or facilities there, they were nowhere to be found. And secondly, the school was as at then predominantly a boarding school. So when I tried to look at the boarding facility there, it was equally nothing to write home about. When you have these great minds come together to exercise their talents, I think it's always better to put them in a boarded environment. So if that school were to be a boarding school, it gives the leadership of the school a lot of advantage to control who goes where and who does what. Otherwise, in summary, I want to say that it is a matter of perspective. There is no good school and there is no bad school. It depends on the area you are looking at it from. As a person, if the school could make me a millionaire today, I think it's one of the best schools I could ever attend.
I like that.
Attending that school was one of the greatest decisions my parents ever made. So it is a good school.
Okay, I agree with you that it is a good school, but there are things that need to be done right. Yes, we cannot leave everything in the hands of government alone. As an old boy of that school, I believe that you have an association. So many schools are rising up now, and the alumni association of schools are rising up and taking up a development project in their schools. What have, as your own, I believe you have one. What are the things you are doing to be able to erase this bad name that has been given to this school, to help channel the energy back to the right thing?
Yeah, that's what we could say, giving back to the society.
Okay.
So in this case, giving back to the school society. Yeah, precisely in 2014, when I went to the school, I went there to organize a training, a free training on instrumentation and controls for the students of the school, for the young generation that were upcoming then. I also tried to let them understand that whatever you want to become in future, you need to start now. As in, there is no time that was too late. So on note is that I was able to train, I think about 45 students of that school and outsiders as well. So we were supposed to use their technical workshop for our practical classes. But very unfortunately, there were no facilities, there were issues here and there. But in any case, we still liaised with the Ministry of Science and Technology to conduct our practicals at their workshop space. Secondly, I will check very well. I'm also an alumnus of Government Technical College, Ikotodaiden, which, by the very special grace of God, the government of the day, our governor, is already transforming it to a vocational center. And I also went to Ikotodaiden sometime 2012 to see how I could leverage on the abundance of workshop facilities, a nice environment, and make the name not diminish. So in summary, I have a plan to key into the governmental policies immediately after the renovation to see how I could contribute to the skill set and upgrade the level of that particular center. So between Ewetikoradem and every other technical school, I want to use this privilege to encourage my colleagues who are scattered across the country. You have people I think we have a student in the Kwai State House of Assembly that were from that school. We have people in Exxon Mobil, Shell, and most of the leading multinational companies that came from that school. So I think if we all come together individually and as a corporate body, the governments will have a sigh of relief and the history of that school will be rewritten for good.
Okay, it's not as if I'm dwelling there, but I know that if we are able to do certain things right, there are some things that could be avoided in the society, like the insecurity problem and all those fighting that we hear about. So, like you said, that was in 2014. Though we don't know how the state of facilities in that school at the moment is like, and I would like to ask that maybe you find out again what the state of facilities are, and if you can, like you said, you have people in multinational companies, you have people in House of Assembly and all that, come together and see how you can improve upon the facilities in that school, because our children, they need to channel those energies to something positive instead of always fighting. If they, like you said, that if they see what to do, they may not really be going out to fight. Yes, that was just on as a part of contributing to the society, and that you have done. Like you said, you train about 40-something people, and in which year?
In 2014, I still have some of their students in my workshop who come for industrial attachments.
Okay, giving back to the society. Yes, we are talking about making impact through your career, and that is an impact you are making, and I want to believe you are going to do more and more and more. Okay, let's take a look at you as a person. You also took the decision to read engineering, and today you are, I should say, swimming in your career. And let's take a look at some of the things that you have done. We talked last week. We mentioned the traffic lights. I still think we can still go from there to look at other fabrications, other things that you have invented, and how you go about inventing those things, especially in this our present economic situation.
Well, there is a lot to talk about. The few minutes we have here might not be enough. So I want to really encourage our young people that in every disadvantage or in every situation we find ourselves, there is always something to invent. There is always something to come out with. All what we need is to think outside the box. So after getting my patent in 2018 on the traffic light, and as well launching the first prototype in Akwa Ibom State, I did not go back to sleep. I had come out with about 3 or 4 different innovations or innovative ideas. Sometimes we do come out with different solutions. Some of them will scale through, while some will not scale through. You understand where I'm driving at? So you first of all look at the environment that you are. You try to leverage on abundance. You leverage on what is actually a problem, like by coming out with the result. In 2019, I came up with an electronic ballot box. In view of the electionary year, we knew that we were about to have election in 2019. So in around March, I came out with the ballot box, presented it to the Vice President and the Minister for Science and Technology, whereby as you cast your vote in the box will automatically count that your vote and put it online. So there will be no need to count or snatch any ballot box. But I discovered that that was not actually the problem of the political society. So that one did not fly. I did not rest. I went back and I came up with one other innovation before this one. The second innovation that I came up with was a water-based air conditioner, a kind of AC system that we install in our homes using water as the medium of transfer of the temperature. That one too is still under probation, which I am very, very sure after a number of years. Remember, it took 6 years for my traffic light to see the light of the day. It came out in 2012, but it hit the road in 2018. So if I could come out with more innovations, I believe gradually they will be flying. But the latest one I want to tell you, which you already know, that won us the 2021 Architect First Prize Award, is the medical oxygen generator. Now we consider 2020 and we look at the number of casualties that we had due to COVID-19, stroke, and other lung infections. And personally, I work on oxygen plants as a technician, and I know that there is no much magic in generating oxygen, which is already in abundance from God. So I was able to identify the catalyst, the active components that is used to separate the oxygen from other gases in the air. So on research, I discovered that they are locally found even in all our villages. So I could be able to use something as local clay to generate oxygen from the atmosphere. I saw that definitely this will solve the problem of the society, and it will be a good business for venture capitalists, investors to key into. So I presented that before the panel during the screening. Out of about 72 or thereabout business ideas, we were shortlisted to the last 10. And nervously, we were able to pitch in about 5 minutes. And the motivation behind the invention and the reality and the ease of building that particular project gave us a star prize, which I'm here to give glory to God and to thank you as well, because you've been one of our promoters since so many years back.
Congratulations. It's welcome. A very good one. Solving problem in the society. You identify problem and you solve it. And let's leverage on that. Looking at the invention that particular, should I say, machine that you have invented. Having been able to get an award from it, what next?
Yeah, the purpose was not really for the award. The machine was invented back in 2019 too. On a very sad note, even as an oxygen expert, I work for hospitals. I lost my father due to lack of oxygen.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that was not because there was no oxygen in the state. It was because in the course of transporting the cylinders from the city center to the hospital where he was, it took a lot of time. So I felt that my mom and every other person shouldn't die because of lack of oxygen. So I sat down. I made use of locally sourced wooden raw materials to set up what we call an oxygen concentrator or oxygen generator. So I had already successfully done my MVP.
What's MVP?
Okay, that's the maximum value product,
Okay.
where we use a very small amount of money to, build a product that give you maximum value.
Okay.
So with that, I've tested it in the laboratories, and I've been able to fine tune it to the World Health Organization standard of 93 to 95% purity. Having done that, I've tested it on a couple of patients, and their HPO2, as those ones that are hypoxemic, people that have stroke, lungs infection, seizures. Okay, we are used to this ideology. Ekpomia, yes, yeah. So when people fall down, if you have oxygen, you could easily resuscitate them, right? Okay, so I've tried it in one or two occasions, and the results have been positive. So that has given me enough reason and comportment that, yeah, there's a value to this product. So I presented it and I won. Last week Friday, we just concluded a session from the foundation that sponsored the event, and from as powered by the Start Innovation Hub. So we had a 2 weeks training where we have been exposed to investors and VCs, and this my product have gained traction. Although it's a budding enterprise, I'm very sure that in less than 10 years, Alpha One oxygen generator will be spread across Africa.
Okay. When you say you tried it on a few patients or few people and it worked, how do you mean? How do you try it? Has it been taken to the hospital, or you use it from your house, or where?
Yeah, just like we have these inhalers.
Okay.
So people that are hypoxemic, that have shortage of oxygen in their blood, they go about with oxygen cylinders or oxygen generators. Some people have it at home, so they kind of rush home to take the oxygen therapy, then come out again. So incidentally, I had a friend that was in that condition, and since it is not a chemical formula where we have to require NAFDAC and all those certifications, I asked him to check it. So we have what we call a pulse oximeter, where you put in your fingertip and it reads the oxygen concentration in your blood.
Okay.
I have it. I have the oxygen purity meter, and I also have the air purity meter. So with the positive values, I tried it on the patient, and I think in less than 2 hours, the oxygen concentration could rise from 85% to about 99%. That's exactly how the basic oxygen concentrators work. Now, that was enough motivation for me.
Okay, I still want to ask, in future, what's your plan? Are you going to fabricate this machine in numbers and then give them, sell them to hospital, or is it going? Can somebody purchase it as an individual for a personal use, private use at home and all that and all that? Maybe organization can come to you, get it, and just keep somewhere.
Yeah. As part of the training that we had, we've been trained on how to build on business canvases, or a kind of sales plan for you to be able to scale, so that somebody will not come and take advantage of your own hard work. So in any case, personally, I desire to establish what I want to call an oxygen center in Akwa Ibom State. Now, remember, this plant is in sizes. We have the portable ones, we also have the giant one. So I wish to build a giant oxygen generator to complement the one that the state government has already commissioned, where we will be able to fill oxygen in cylinders.
Okay, so maybe you can have a tank and then
Yes,
have
have a
several
tank,
cylinders.
yes, and give those ones at a giveaway price.
Okay.
Now, for the generators, the generator is basically designed to suit our very local communities. I don't think there is up to 10% health centers in our villages that have oxygen generators or concentrators, because they are very, very expensive. So I wish to build at least 10,000 units of this equipment in the next 10 years after due calculations, sell them to government, individuals, and organizations, as well as donate to the gray areas where they might not have the financial capacity. But one thing I need to put on note at this moment is that the raw material is free. The catalyst used to generate the oxygen, which is clear, is free. The packaging is cheap. So mathematically, to every one oxygen generator that you buy outside Nigeria, assuming it is about 850,000 naira, the cheapest. So you could get my own for about 200,000 naira. So you now see, to every one imported device, you could get 4 local devices that is of the same performance with the foreign one. You will at least generate jobs for our teeming youth, and of course put the Akwa Ibom State in a better light to the other part of the country.
And so will you be able to invent the one that we can carry in our pocket, like inhaler? Is there anything like that? Any plan of such?
Of course, the prototype that I presented before the public on that day of my pitch was a portable one. But you know that it is a little bit complex to generate oxygen. So you might not carry it in your pocket. But we have a knapsack design where you can hang it like a bag behind you.
Okay, let's go back.
Only when you have peculiar conditions. You know, it's not a straight. You are not using it all the time. You only monitor your oxygen concentration. You use it for a few hours, then you now go ahead with it. So you have one in your office, you have one at home. You should be good to go.
Okay. And so what will be the cost for the small one? Will it be affordable?
Yeah, of course. Since I'm trying to solve a problem in the society, and one of the problems we have is lack of income. So I'm very, very sure it will be very, very affordable and competitive.
Okay. That's quite interesting, and it's good to know that this is coming from us, and this is in Akwa Ibom State. And Engineer Ndore Kingsley is a native of in the local government area, and he's making waves with his career, and I'm glad that he has invented, especially now during this COVID-19 era, where a lot of people experience a problem assessing oxygen. He has been able to do something in that area, and that's creating meaningful impact in his career. Okay, let's talk about challenges you face in this. I'd like you to first of all talk about how you cope with the present economic condition in our country, inventing these things. You've told us that inventing the oxygen machine is not very expensive because of the raw materials. Some of them are cheap. Now, I believe other things are not the same.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
how do you cope? How do you get your raw materials? What are the challenges in that aspect?
Yeah, at this point, it's good to note that Alpha One Technical Services have the privilege of being hosted by the Technology Incubation Center. The Technology Incubation Center is an ICT hub or technology hub by the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology in Uyo. And by the very special grace of God, too, as partners, we have the Akwa Ibom State Ministry of Science and Technology, who has been very, very supportive for over 10 years now. Even the current President Honorable Commissioner is always, working together wherever I
Which
need
of the
their
commissioners?
advice. The Honorable
For
Commissioner
information.
for Science
Okay,
and
science
Technology,
and technology.
yeah, Mr. Mufat,
Okay.
Imam Mufat. Now, talking about financial challenges, yeah, sometimes all what we get is encouragement and a wow response. Wow, carry on. I personally, I do not actually depend on the result of my inventions to survive, right? Yeah, I'm an industrial techie. I fix equipment, and I once worked for AKBC Channel 45 many years back. And if you work hard and you are good in your career, I don't think financial crisis will be a thing of concern. So what I do rather is that wherever I make profits or whenever I get funding, I reinvent it in my innovation. So that's one of the advantage I have. Not everybody has that advantage. Otherwise, I know that there is no budget for. I think that I'm right too. That there is no budget for budding entrepreneurs and inventors in Akwa Ibom State, because if there is one, I would have been a beneficiary. Otherwise, I also leverage on the availability of opportunities given by multinational organizations like the Inoyo Toro Foundation, other foundations, both locally and international. And I'm very optimistic, and I can tell you that 9 out of every 10 competitions that I present my inventions, I always win them. So that is enough medium for me to raise funds.
I'd like to still ask, do you think that this can sustain what you're doing? And because I know that this is just the starting point, looking at you, I believe that you still have so many problems to solve in the society. And do you think that what you have enumerated will be able to sustain what you want to do?
I would say yes. Well, yes, because a popular quote from an American president says, think of what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. Yeah. As an entrepreneur, we have been trained not to look at government and freebies. We have been trained to work within our limits. So the little seed funding that we might have with a right concept and application, the seed funding could help you grow your business gradually. Remember when you last met me, I was still struggling to move from point A to B, and that struggle is eventually yielding. Most enterprises that shut down also close down because of huge investments in a poor business plan, and we find ourselves in an environment where business plans actually work on the papers and pages of the newspaper. The reality is our country The realities of this country, which I don't really want to be negative about it, is very funny. Things change. The inconsistency of the economy, the societal values, you know, even government regulations change. So if we really want to see success in our career, I think we should be very, very dynamic, flexible, and try to limit our investment within the scope or ambience of our environment. Now, why I'm saying so is that if I want to venture or upscale in a big way, say set up a very big plant and build for building oxygen generators or any other device, I want to put it to you that there are a lot of things that might come up which I never envisaged. Sometimes the workers might even go on strike demanding for salary increment. Some at times the government department might come and ask for tax and all that. So I think it's better for me to start small and later grow big.
Okay. What are the deliberate things you have put in place to help the youths? I've heard you talk about them coming around for their industrial attachment in your place and all that. Do you pay them? How many? What's your staff strength? What? Let's still look at how you are contributing positively to the society.
Yeah, talking about that, I know that as early as 2012, where I launched my first public training that was organized by Akwa Ibom State Youth for Change and Development Initiative. We were able to train about 100 youths that was living within Akwa Ibom State on industrial electrical work, instrumentation, and control. Now, those courses were kind of alien or strange to the Akwa Ibom State environment, but I could see tomorrow from today. I knew that sometimes there will be a lot of industry and a huge facility set up in the state. So I began to train them, and today I can boast that at least 10 to 20 of those guys are working within the state's employ. I know that every single industry or factory in Akwa Ibom State, there is an Alpha 1 representative as a result of that training. Now, personally, as a company or as an enterprise, I work with very young mind. In fact, I think the eldest person in my employ is about 24 or 25 years old. I work with very young minds. I train them and I adopt them.
How do you get them from secondary school or from university? What level do you take them?
Yeah, it's across board. It's actually a kind of talent hunt. When I come on stage like this, some parents watch, some individuals also watch. There are people that have that talent in them. They are looking for a right platform to be able to educate them. They will come to me. I also reach out to my own immediate community, my village, my church, and my immediate environment. We focus on the talent, not the educational qualification. We focus mainly on the talent because talent drives you faster than education papers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we go, I would like you to. Is there anything probably like you have said you wouldn't want to rely on government, but I don't think if you see government help, you will not take. That being said, I would like to find out from you: is there anything you would have wished the government could do differently for people like you or those that are in this kind of setup?
Yes, of course. You know that government is the fulcrum of the economy. Whatever you want to do, if they decide that you are not going out, you will not go out. And of course, a proper administration should be able to encourage youth and individuals to be self-independent. So my advice or my contribution to that is I just wish I was in government, because if I were in government, I will actually push further to create independent youthful enterprises or encourage youths that have talent financially, so by giving grants, award, and leverage for them to be to scale up, such that instead of investing a lot of money in parties, fanfare, and all that, I would rather encourage like the vision of one industry per local government. So if I could industrialize the state, and each industry could be employing no less than 10,000 youths.
Don't even go to 10,000. Just
they-
start from 1,000.
Yeah, I know that only one man in the country is employing almost 100,000 people.
Okay.
So 10,000, when I say 10,000, both the active players and the passive players, those ones that are supplying, depending, and those ones that are equally working.
Okay.
You have less access to PS to and all that, and you also have peace of mind. So in summary, if I were to be government, I would rather invest more in youth enterprise.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dorian Kingsley.
You're
It's been
welcome.
fun having you around here,
Thank
and
you.
I get so excited about those inventions, and I'm hoping to see more in the next few years.
And I don't know why you are putting on the same color.
I don't know why we came up back today. It's okay. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
I also will request that you also catch them young, especially the very small ones.
Yeah, for
Teach
what
them
we talk about it.
innovations.
Yeah,
Teach them.
yeah.
Let's see how we can build the next
Yeah,
generation
that's
to be
our
better
next plan.
what
Yeah,
we are
to go
doing
into the toddlers and the young generation.
Okay. Aside that, I have given you something to do about government technical school award. We
Of-
want to
of-
have
of course.
positive story
I don't want to
from
blow
that
my
school.
trumpet
Please
very
do
soon.
the best you can. Reach out to your people and let's see how we can channel their
Like
energies.
you like that school
Into,
very well.
no, I don't like the negative report that comes from
Yeah,
that
you like
school.
the school.
I like the school. Yes, if they are able to bring out somebody like you, why wouldn't I love such a school? So please do the best you can to make those people come
Trust
out
me,
better than
you
they
will
are
hear.
doing. We are grateful for your time and for everyone who joined us this morning. It's been good having you around. Thank you so much. Please stay on with us. Heartbeat continues. My name remains Grace Susan. Bye bye.